Josh is a great writer. He has put an article in our February 2025 Prophecy Watcher, and the title of the article, and it may run past you when you first hear it, but we're going to explain what it's all about. Ancient Connections to CERN, capital CERN. Now, what does that mean to people who have no idea about CERN?
Well, CERN is basically, today CERN is the organizing body of people that run what's called the LHC and other machines as well, but it's basically a big particle collider, the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. So you have CERN, which is just the people that manage the machine, and then the machine itself is the Large Hadron Collider. It's like how NASA manages rockets. And NASA is the organizing body that deals with the rockets. Rockets are the actual machine. So the LHC is a big particle collider. They run all sorts of experiments and things there. And lately...
Okay, a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
People listening, what collider? What? and where is this thing located exactly?
It's on the border of France, and it's the largest machine in the world. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to recreate the in the way that they would explain it, the scientists there, which are largely atheistic. There's a few Christians that work there and other people of other religions and stuff. But the way that they would explain it is they're trying to recreate the initial conditions of the Big Bang to discover what the origin of the universe is and how it all happened. Now, of course, we as Bible-believing Christians know how it happened and we know the origins. But they're trying to find something scientifically.
In fact, the Big Bang theory goes back several decades to people who were trying to understand, physicists trying to understand how the universe was created.
Yeah.
And of course, we as Christians have an idea because we've read the Bible.
That's right.
But science wants to apply scientific methods.
That's correct.
To get back to the very beginning, to find out how all of they call it the Big Bang, and they've called it many other things, this giant explosion that created the heavens and the earth. Well, the Bible says something about God having done that.
That's right.
But CERN is you called it a Large Hadron Collider. What it is an underground tunnel. And this tunnel can be used to speed electrons in a circle, and they go the speed of light.
Pretty close to it.
Yeah. And when they do, and when you engineer a collision between these highly charged particles in this underground tunnel, what are you supposed to find out?
Well, what happens is when they slam two particles together, it sends energy into these other fields, possibly fields that we haven't discovered yet. And if you send enough energy into a field, it'll produce a particle. So then they have detectors, and then sometimes they can catch a particle that hasn't been discovered yet. One of the biggest, most recent ones was in 2012 when they discovered the Higgs boson for the first time. And so it had been hypothesized before.
Boson, let me just interrupt
Sure.
you for somebody's boson? What's a boson?
It's just a type of particle.
It's a type of particle.
Yeah.
And very specific, named after a scientist, Dr. Higgs.
Yeah.
And this Higgs boson supposedly gives us a clue as to how everything was created in the beginning.
Yeah, and even how everything works today. What was amazing about that discovery is it showed that mass, what we think of mass as like substance. Mass is actually just an interaction with a quantum field. And so when you interact with the Higgs field, the more you interact, the more mass you have. This is why Einstein said when things approach the speed of light, they actually gain more mass. The reason for that is the faster you go, you're interacting with the Higgs field even more, so you're going to pick up more mass. So it shows that mass is an interaction. It's not just substance the way we think about it. So they do make some interesting discoveries there, but that doesn't mean that everything is all on the up and up.
Now, having laid the foundation here, why are we interested in ancient connections to CERN, which is the title of Josh's article? Well, here's why we're interested, because it speaks volumes about what mankind is doing today that was predicted in the Bible for the latter days. And the people who have built this huge machine have assigned to it great power, not just electronic power or whatever kind of power you generate and project into that circular tunnel, but I guess you would say that the power to connect man with his spiritual history. And how long ago was it that there was the supernatural march when people dressed up in costumes and
Oh yeah, the
marched?
Gothard Tunnel. I don't remember the exact year, but it was a few years ago. And I remember when Tom Horn was alive. He and I were writing a book together about that. And he dealt with the Gothard Tunnel opening. And people can go and watch it online. I would suggest praying before you do and making sure you're spiritually
But it was
covered.
a dark
satanic, yeah.
of spiritual observance. People marching in costume around the CERN apparatus, around the whole grounds there, which they consider to be kind of sacred.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the thrust of your article.
Yeah, because even in ancient times, when they were first building CERN, they had to stop construction because they found ruins of an old Roman city called Apolliacum. This place not only venerated Apollo, which when we read Revelation 9, that connects with Apollyon, Abaddon, but they also believed that the bottomless pit was located there, whatever that meant in Roman culture. But so this has led certain people to connect that with Revelation 9 and the opening of the bottomless pit and make people wonder, well, could it be that CERN might have something to do with the fulfillment of that prophecy in the future? Is something that CERN is doing with their experiments, could they open the bottomless pit? Could they accidentally or on purpose open a portal essentially to hell, leading these things to escape around roughly the middle of the tribulation?
That's fascinating. In your article, you go back through a number of iterations of dark ceremonies that have occurred around this location.
Yeah.
And you even mentioned what we call, the scapegoat, or Baphomet, the goat figure that everybody sees that stands for the devil. And this is connected somehow to CERN.
Yeah, in ancient pagan mythology, there was a figure called Cernunnos, which was basically this stag or this goat kind of false god. But there's connections there historically. The name is literally Cernunnos, so CERN is the beginning of the name, but there's also connections with that to Baphomet. And then, like you mentioned, that all connects to the satanic imagery around the goat, like Azazel.
What Josh is talking about in his article is there is a long history of evil behind what is today called science, focusing right down on CERN.